Hey guys, welcome to the channel. cgaviator here with an early access beta preview of the FlightSim Studios E175 from Microsoft FlightSim. In this video, I'll take you on a tour around the outside of the airplane, and by the way, the PBR texturing is fantastic. We'll look at outside, we'll look at inside, we'll look at animation, sounds, lighting, operation, day and night ops. We'll have a look at the external lighting, we'll have a look at FPS, we'll look at landing it. I'll tell you about my thoughts on this aircraft. So we'll go through the works. Just remember, it is a pre-release beta version of an early access product. So let me tell you what you want to know about the release itself. So it's early access. It'll be released to the public hopefully on the 10th of January, and the pricing will start from €33.57, not including tax, and that price is likely to increase as it gets towards the final state of the product later this year. I'll put a link in the description below for various official resources that you can check out ahead of that. This is the E175 version. The E170 will be as part of the same pack. It will be updated free of charge at a later stage. The E190 and the 195 will be sold as a separate package. There are missing functions, of course, because it's early access and it's not study level simulation yet, but the developers will improve it as time goes on. So if you're waiting for the study level, you'll have to wait until the final product's release later in the year. But for now, let's jump in and have a look at the animations, sounds, and the cockpit. So all the doors are clickable from the inside, really nice animation. No sounds I can hear associated, but again, it's early access. The cockpit is nice and tidy, really nicely modeled. The lighting, as we'll look at later, is fantastic. Lots of clickable stuff. Not everything is clickable, but it is certainly able to do a full mission straight off the bat. The door at the back you can open. And the jump seat behind the captain can come down. And all the sounds that you hear are custom designed, it's not default. Even the waste paper bins are animated as well. There's a sun visor down to the lower left that you can place. You can move around, put it into position, looks really cool. And then click the hinge to stow it back again. There's also a tiller, so if you don't want to use your rudder pedals for steering on the ground, you can use the tiller. And the iPad is mounted and animated very nicely, although not fully integrated as yet. The windows are nice, the sound is good, both windows open. And overhead I'll take you on some of the clicks so you can sit and listen to the noises. Not a great variety in the sound effects, maybe they'll adjust that later on. But for now it is certainly good enough, and once the power is applied it certainly comes alive at that stage. Whilst I don't program the MCDU on this flight, there are some really good features that I'll demonstrate in just a minute. The model itself, I should have mentioned, is an X-Crafts model, so the 3D model by X-Crafts, which is an X-Plane developer, but ported over by the FlightSim Studios team, and all the animations and texturing was produced by them. They've done a brilliant job, and you can change the seat position, armrest, you can move your seat position. Right, so let's switch the power on. Batteries on, GPUs available, no external model for that, but we can use that. We can check the annunciator. Emergency lights selected, you get an announcement on the iCAS, and if you open the door and look towards the rear cabin, you can see the lights overhead are illuminated, so the emergency lights do work. I love a good bing bong. But the seatbelt and the no smoking signs also illuminate, which I think is really cool. Multifunction display is really useful, really easy to use. Just click with your mouse, go through different systems pages. We'll use the electrical page later. But loads of really useful bits of information on there. The plan and map phase or pages are there. Not fully implemented with all features, but usable most certainly. And if you put your mouse over the MCDU, you can type with your keyboard, which is so simple. But it makes it so much easier. And don't forget to subscribe. Okay, starting the APU. Put some lights on. APU to start. Great sound effects, and if you look carefully you can see the heat haze from the APU. And I love that red beacon, look how nice that looks. If you go to the electrical page, you can see that the APU is now running the system. And we can get straight on with the engine start. It looks like the cones disappear when the engines are started. Once the engine's up and running, you do get a high pressure indicator. That's because pump 3 alpha is in the off position. And just switch it on. Now the right engine's already taking the electrical load, so I non-standard switch off the APU at this stage. And as attention to detail, there's a 1-minute cooldown period on the APU before it shuts down. So I think it's about time to look at the night lighting. And this is some of the best cockpit night lighting I've seen. Now I have got the effect checked that it adjusts in terms of your eyes to the dark and the ambient lighting, which I think you can turn off if you wish. It looks great. I'll take you through a quick demo of the different switches, and then we'll have a look at the external lights, just to demo those as well. So overhead panel backlighting, front console, center console, also a big old floodlight. No shortage of lights in here. On the glare shield, you've got your ICAS, got your MFD, and your PFD, and also the storm lighting, and the chart lighting. That's really impressive. So let's throw everything on. There's the landing lights, and I'll show you outside because it looks brilliant. In fact, I might do more flights in the dark with this. Vector lights, logo lights, got everything on. Yes, I know you don't normally put it on now, but look at that. Those strobe lights look amazing. I love how bright the landing and taxi lights are. You can see in the cabin, you can see the rivets, see the inspection light there on the right hand side. Nice lighting in the cabin. This is very impressive. This is what it looks like by day, and nicely it's still bright. So many other models have really dim lights, or not even illuminated, but here they've got it beautiful. And I particularly like the beacon on the underside, it has a nice pulse to it. Let's get a move on. Let's get to the runway and get flying. Now I have found that this does take a few FPS to run, and it does a little bit induce a few stutters. Don't know if that comes across in the video. Now that's one of the things they're aware of and they're working on, but at the moment with all the features you see and all the modelling, it's of course going to make your computer work a little harder. Here's the flight control check with the system page on the MFD, or the flight control page, and I'm clicking on the tiller and I can use my mouse now to go left and right. A little bit sensitive, but easy to get used to. Now we'll taxi out to runway, I think it's 05 at Southend. So entering to Backtrack, I've used some custom views. I think this view of the wing looks amazing. The gloss on the wing is fantastic. I use the word fantastic a lot because that's what I think. The detail on the nose wheel, just staggering. Tell me what you think. What do you think so far? Put it in the comments below. The developers often read the comment section of videos like this and they get a sense of what their customers are thinking. So have your say now. Put it in the comments. But it's time to take off. There's idiot proof. You can press a button lower right.
No takeoff. Brake.
And it tells me I've left the brakes on. I've not set the MCDU up with speed, so it's not going to give me the call outs. I'm just having a go as I normally do with every other aircraft. One thing I would say, I'm not entirely sure about the frosted look of the front windshield. Maybe the only visual negative I would say about the aircraft. Rotate. Okay, I told you I was going to put it through its paces, so wing flex. It has particularly bendy wings. It looks like it's flapping. I think it's ace. Whether it's accurate, I have no idea, but and look at that, bouncing away. Let's throw some spoilers in there for good effect. Beacon light, oh, it looks brilliant, love it. Okay, time for some aerobatics. Yes, aerobatics. Airbus, eat your heart out. None of this angle of bank limiter. About 300 knots, full power. Keep some positive G on it so the systems don't get upset. But yeah, if you want to throw this airplane around, you can do. Simple as that. Because I love the look of the outside so much, let's do it again from the outside. Nice. Let's have a look at the sun visor then. So the sun visor does exactly what it's supposed to do, but it does look really neat. Put it in position, cruise along. It looks nice. It's a simple sun visor, but it works beautifully. There's still characteristics. Early access, or this is a beta version. Like I said, this is not the release candidate. This is beta still. But the stick shaker hasn't been implemented, and the audio warnings associated with the stall haven't been implemented. But as a way of seeing what the aircraft is like when you put it up to the limits, because that's what I'm all about. I like to fly beyond the limits sometimes. Pull the yoke all the way back. You can see the elevator fully deflected up. That's pretty benign. And the aircraft has a lag to the roll, so it does feel heavy, but it does still feel like a smaller aircraft, not a large aircraft. One thing I would say with the steep turn, where I've got it in, it's idle. And it doesn't slow down very quickly. That's probably because I'm not used to large airplanes like this, so it has a lot of inertia, but maybe it could use a little bit more drag. Again, that's my perception. Let me know in the comments below. But it's certainly one that you have to plan your descent and make sure you don't stay too fast for too long. Okay, so FPS, here we are in the 175 internally, and we've got about 48 FPS, and externally about 54. Check my description below for my current system specifications, but here's the CRJ. We've got 64 and 69 on the outside, so almost 10, around 10 more. If you really want some FPS, fly the C152. 78, love it. All my settings are on high rather than ultra. It's about time to take it back to land. Look how it wobbles around. I'm live flying it from the outside, so I'm doing the camera work and flying it backwards. But it does move. It doesn't feel like it's on rails, which is really nice. And I like to hand fly most of my flights, unless I'm doing what I would call long distance, more than 50 miles, in which case I might put the autopilot on. I do like that view. So time to land it. I'm roughly following an ILS. I'm roughly following some speeds. And I've set the, for whatever reason, it tells me my minimums when I'm at 40 feet. But that's by the by. What do I think about this airplane? I think it is one of the best looking airplanes I've seen in the sim. I think the lighting is particularly impressive. The only negatives about how it looks is maybe the windscreen is a bit frosted, and the hit on the FPS is quite extreme, but actually, you know what, I don't mind so much. It's more of the stuttering that I perceive might be more of an issue. But again, it's early access, beta, all that stuff, things change and they'll improve it as they go. In terms of the flight dynamics, I love it. I think it could use a little bit more drag perhaps, but I like flying it around. It feels like a living, breathing airplane that you can do a barrel roll in, so what's not to like there? System-wise, it's early access, so there's some stuff that's not yet implemented that I'd like to see. But what's there, for me, being a basic pilot that doesn't often do airline stuff, it is perfect at the moment. I wouldn't hesitate to buy it myself, and they haven't paid me to say that. That's just what I think. And just to finish up, I'll taxi it to park and just show you the nose wheel again, because the Oleo I think is I like the little features. I do like the little features, the little touches here and there. There's lots of attention to detail throughout this. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, help support the channel. But until the next time, take care, fly safe.